Hi Shiva,
Hi, sir.
how are you today?
Yeah, good. I'm good.
So we wanted to do some mock interviews, right?
Yes.
So on Azure and AWS. So today let us do for AWS for a few questions. Okay. What I'm going to do is the last questions to you. You can explain what all you know that so far. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now my first question is how do you approach designing a scalable and resilient cloud infrastructure for a new application deployment? Scalable means you can increase the size of the infrastructure. You can
Yes.
decrease also. Upscaling, downscaling kind of thing. How it works for resilient architecture?
Yeah. So in this case, first and foremost thing is we need to first identify the requirements. So we need to gather the requirements from the client. So from the project. So if I want to design this cloud infrastructure for the sample e-commerce application, so I will take like simple one Amazon EC2 instance. So in order to ensure this infrastructure, so we can handle this by using like auto scaling. So this means during the peak times, our application will seamlessly expand. So to accommodate the increased load. So for distributing this incoming traffic and high availability, so we will implement an elastic load balancer also. So this service will act as user request. So it will distribute the across various multiple EC2 instances. And for the database, we use the relational database service. So it has like a data product catalog or any customer details or any order history of e-commerce application. And by choosing this multi-availability zone deployment, so it has features like data high availability and data durability for our critical application of an e-commerce. And additionally, we will take Amazon S3 bucket for storing these product images as well as the Amazon DB, DynamoDB also for the but like if the customer browse and purchase items, then it will store the inventory file on the DynamoDB, so which will enhance the user experience more. So to further boost this performance and to reduce the latency for the customers globally, so we will set up the Amazon CloudFront. So it will act as the uh, it will caching the frequently accessed product images, which is closer to the user's location. And security is one of the important factor while designing this application e-commerce. So we will use the security groups and network access controls, so to control the inbound and outbound traffic of application. And more also we will use this Amazon web application firewall, so which can add the extra layer for the application protection. So it will protect the application from any cyber activities. And for the e-commerce application, the one of the main thing is payment processing is also one of the crucial aspect. So it will be integrated with like secure payment gateways like Amazon Pay and some more apps. So it will give the smoother transactions for our customers. So finally, we'll use the Amazon CloudWatch also. So for monitoring our EC2 instances or even if it is in containers, so that one also. So we will set up some metrics, so such as like RDS health and ELV status. So this CloudWatch will notify us through the alarms. So if the some threshold value are reached, then it will allow us to take an immediate action to resolve the issues. So in terms of any disaster recovery, then we need to take the backup of the RDS snapshots automatically. So by for that, we need to use this Amazon S3 crash region replication. So to make ensure the data redundancy across AWS regions in maybe other regions also. So we need to continuously improving our infrastructure based on users accessing our application. For that, we need to use like
I
AWS.
have a question here. Let us say one e-commerce application is there. That application during festival season like Christmas, Thanksgiving Day, during that season, more customers will come suddenly. Maybe millions of customers will come to Amazon.com or such kind of top-notch e-commerce sites. That time, what is the process occurs inside with this setup, with these practices?
Okay. So at that time, so if the servers are not handling the request from the customers, so we should use the load balancer. So elastic load balancer.
Yeah, but if more load is coming, what our autoscale does it in reality?
Yeah, with the auto scaling, we need to set up the more servers, so to in order to handle the more requests from the users on that day.
Okay, more servers. I have 3 regions. Let us say one region sudden load has come. Is the autoscale going to increase the size of the EC2s, servers building up all those things in that region or different region?
Yeah, if some region goes maybe in low, then it will route the traffic into the different region. So first it will ask if the region is maybe healthy. If the instance is maybe healthy, then it will send the request to the particular instances.
So it means the free region free traffic region, it is going to be utilized first. It distributes the traffic.
Yeah, it distributes traffic to all regions.
Then if everywhere the load is more, what it is going to do? Is it going to increase the size of the EC2s, so networks, all these things in the same region, or it will go on to another region?
Yeah, in the other region also.
No, but other region, why you should do? You should do in the same region, right? Which is nearer to the users, it should increase the size.
So that is like horizontal scaling. Yeah.
Horizontal scaling. Yes. Okay. And my next question is, what considerations do you take into account when selecting a cloud provider for a new application project? Let us say you have e-commerce requirement. They wanted to set up, a client wanted to set up into a cloud. So what is your recommendation? What kind of suggestions you are going to give?
Yes. So there are several crucial considerations we need to take into account. The first one is the security and compliance. So because wherever the application is running, so it has the sensitive data involved. So the cloud provider must give the security features like such end-to-end encryption and multi-factor authentication also. So this make ensures that customer information and transactions are protected from threats. And scalability and performance is one of the key crucial point. So wherever the application experiences like varying levels of usage, so especially during peak times, so that at that time, so the cloud provider must support automatic scaling, so to handle the increased traffic. So which maintaining the high performance and reduce the low latency for user experience. Then availability and reliability is also one of the key factor. So downtime is not an option. So in the any app while accessing. So for that, the cloud provider should offer like high availability features and reduce the latencies. So as well as a well-defined disaster recovery plan should be included in this service. So even in the face of any unfortunate disruptions. Then cost management is also one of the crucial part. So the cloud provider should offer like transparent pricing models, any cost optimization tools also to estimate the cost accurately for our application. So this helps to the customer, so to make sure how much amount will be cost. And the 24/7 and support will also be one of the key factor. So the cloud provider, so it should quickly, if any issue is happen, so this cloud provider should able to resolve the issue with a less time, so which will give the more positive user experience.
Okay. Now, my question is next. Third question is, how would you ensure the security of your cloud infrastructure and data? Some of them you might have discussed in first question when we were talking about scalability. So, but in detail, if you want to say about cloud infrastructure security, what kind of practices you suggested, you follow?
So whenever the project will started newly, so firstly we need to set up the virtual VPC, virtual private cloud. So it will create the private network environment for our application, so which is isolating our application from the public internet. Then to control the inbound and outbound traffic, we need to configure network access control list and security groups as well. So this will restrict the rules to ensure only necessary communication will happen between our application tier. So it will minimizes the any cyber attacks. Then our data security is one of the important thing. So we need to take the encryption at rest. So it will by using this Amazon key management service for our database. So it means even if any authorization access happens, so the data remains encrypted, so at all time. So we need not to worry about that one. And further protection, we need to implement the IAM roles and policies as well. So these roles, as we all know, right? So these roles will have the least privileges. So if I need to give to access to any person, so I'll give the necessary permission only. So this IAM users with administration privileges, so is required to use multi-factor authentication, so which will add an extra layer of identity security. And we'll also use this, like if any vulnerabilities happen in the site, so we need to take the care of the parameters as well.
Okay, right. My next fourth question is, explain the process of setting up virtual network within a cloud environment. I am asking this question related to AWS and Azure. In both cloud services, how are you going to set up? What are the design steps you follow it in operation?
Yeah, so the first step is
You tell about
like
AWS first. What are the components and operational setup involved in that VPC? I mean AWS VPC. Then later on you explain about Azure network.
okay, in the VPC setup,
Which one you are explaining, AWS or Azure first?
for AWS.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so for the in a VPC setup, so first the company choose this AWS region, so with their business needs. So for the optimal performance and reduce the latency for their services. So for the like production environment, we'll define this private IP range to make sure sensitive customer data. And we'll also take the route tables are established to manage this traffic between the subnets, and the security groups are configured to control the inbound and outbound traffic. So to like in order to communicate with this network on-premises network and the AWS environment, so the company set up a VPN connection. So this connection will serve as a secure bridge, which allows the data to flow in between this existing infrastructure and the cloud-based virtual network for the hybrid scenario. So the company allocates these cloud resources for the production subnet. So it will deploy the critical services like databases and application servers and load balancer. So the security group for this load balancer is configured to allow only like HTTP and HTTPS traffic from the internet. So which will make ensure that the production environment is protected from any unnecessary risk. And in the development of and testing subnets, so we'll launch the EC2 instances, so which are very so for the specific needs. So these instances has associated with security groups, so that are uh, to control the protocols for the design task.
I have a question now. In AWS and Azure, let us say I want to set up one EC2.
Okay.
In both cloud services, setting up the network is mandated for that virtual machine.
Yes.
How? In AWS, you need a virtual private network, obviously, to set up that EC2. But Azure, it is not required. Is it required, really?
Azure, it's a default VNet
Yeah,
is.
you can create a virtual machine without network also, right? As an independent, like a desktop.
Yeah, yes.
Is it possible or not?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, right. Now, my fifth question is, how do you handle data backups and disaster recovery planning in a cloud infrastructure? If you are able to tell the comparison between AWS and Azure for this DR, disaster recovery planning, you can explain. Otherwise, if you want to tell only AWS, it's okay. Either way.
Okay, for this, I will tell like Azure resources. So for this, suppose if I in our like Azure based infrastructure, so we can handle this data backups and disaster recovery planning. So with our needs, suppose in our scenario, like we have one e-commerce platform, so that is critical for revenue and customer trust. So for this, we need to take like such as Azure backup and Azure site recovery, as well as the geo redundant storage. These are the main things you are using in the Azure cloud. So first of all, Azure backup is our first line of thing. So it will allow us to regularly backup of our essential databases like user data and application code as well. So this service offers like incremental backups and retention policies. So which is all stored in our geo redundant storage. So which will make us high durability of the service. So additionally, we are using Azure Site Recovery. So to prepare for the worst situation also. So we have configured this plan with the entire application stack from the web servers to the databases as well. So this Azure Site Recovery will automatically orchestrates the failover to a secondary Azure region, which is minimizing the any downtime problem. So our data is integrity is further ensured with geo-redundant storage, so which replicates the critical data asynchronously to the Azure region, paired Azure region. So this will also protect the against any region failures. So we don't set up these systems and forget about them. So just we need to regular this testing and monitoring to our according to our strategy. So we just conduct this disaster recovery drills, which will various failure scenarios in order to validate our plans. So this Azure Monitor and Azure Security, all this will monitoring our infrastructure, so which will providing the alerts for any potential issues. And security is one of the parameter. So we encrypt our backup data at rest and during transition state. So which will also secure access to our backup and disaster recovery resources. So
Okay.
overall, we will take the
Yeah.
backups, regularly backups, and if any disaster recovery plan, we need to monitor our applications.
Okay. Fifth question is, can you explain the concept of auto scaling and its benefits in cloud environment? Do you have auto scaling in Azure also?
I
Azure, it is there, right? Auto scaling, scaling up and down the
Yes,
infrastructure.
yeah,
Okay. Now, can you explain first the AWS one here?
okay. So firstly, like
How are you going to set up the auto scale in AWS? The process, basically, setup process. First, what is the concept for auto scaling? You explain it, and later benefits, then how you are going to set up. Yeah, continue your answer.
yeah. So the benefits of this auto scaling as performance optimization. So it will automatically add the more resources, which will make ensure smooth and responsive for the user experiences without any manual intervention. And cost efficiency is also one of the key benefit. So it scales down and scales up according to our based on the situation. And during peak times, it scales up to handle the request in demand, so which will optimizing the operational expenses. And high availability is one of the key factor. So if any server fails under increased load, then auto scaling spins up a new instance instead of the old, so which will remains the highly available for the application to the users. Then flexibility is one of the key benefit. So whether it's a planned event or an unexpected viral thing, so this system adapts the dynamically, so which will deliver the content to the user experience. So
Okay.
these are the benefits of, for the auto scaling using for our application.
Okay. My next question is, describe the advantages of utilizing serverless computing in cloud infrastructure setup. You can take first AWS, and then later what are the services available, such services in Azure.
So this for this for like okay. So this cost efficiency of serverless computing is unparalleled. So basically, the traditional server-based models, which require provisioning fixed server capacity, so which often leads to the over-provisioning and the wastage of resources. So during periods of low demand situation. So, but with serverless, you can pay only for the actual computing resources, which are used during the execution of your functions. So this pay-as-you-go model, which results like a significant cost savings, particularly for applications with the variable workloads. So if it is aligned with perfectly with the cloud costing savings, so by eliminating the need to invest in maintain ideal servers. So the main aspect of scalability for serverless computing, it's a game changer. So in the past, a scaling infrastructure was a manual and there is a large process, so involving like predicting peak loads and provisioning servers accordingly. But with serverless platforms, we can automatically handle the scaling of resources based on incoming workload, so which ensures that our application can handle like sudden any traffic spikes without any downtime. So this maybe this elastic scaling will help us both up and down for our essential applications that face varying user patterns. So these are the benefits while using this serverless.
Okay. Next question is eighth question. How do you manage cross-region deployments for high availability in any cloud you can tell?
Yeah, so region deployment, like it's one of the strategic approach to ensure the continuous availability and reliability for our critical applications, like especially in a cloud-based environments. Suppose to achieve this high availability, so the platform which employs like a multi-region infrastructure, so which leverages the geographic diversity by the cloud provider. So it means that the application is replicated and hosted in multiple regions for high availability. So in order to provide redundancy and fault tolerance features. Suppose if a crucial component of the setup, any load balancer, so this load balancer will direct this incoming traffic, user traffic to the healthy regions, so which will through the health checks. So when one region experiences any issue, then such as network outage during a peak shopping session, then the global load balancer will automatically reroute this traffic to the unaffected region, or maybe a healthy region. So this ensures that customers can continue browsing, and maybe they're adding their products to the cart and making purchases without any experiencing disruption issues. And data replication, like it plays a very important role for we need to maintain this consistency for data replication. So the platform databases are replicated across various regions with the active replication techniques. So the disaster recovery plan is one of the thing. So we need to take we need to take the backup with affecting multiple regions simultaneously. So like such as like minimizing the downtime and ensure the recovery plan. So for the high availability purpose.
Okay, my next question is similar one. What strategies do you use to optimize cloud resource utilization? Can you explain it by taking one cloud service?
So this like feature like during like a period holiday sales anytime, like it seamlessly scales out, which ensures the smooth user experience. So for that, we need to efficiently distribute the incoming traffic and to maintain the performance. So for that, we need to employ this load balancing technique. So this technique will make ensure that no single server bears any sudden traffic. So which will optimize the resource utilization across various instances. And furthermore, by analyzing the historical patterns, so we can identify any baseline load and coming to this reserved instances, so which will provide the cost savings when compared to the on-demand instances. Then these reserved instances will offer you the stability for the consistent baseline, so which will allows us auto scaling to handle the sudden spikes without incurring any unnecessary charges. So we will like improve this resources monitoring and analytics also by taking the real-time data and the performance and uses with the help of the potential areas for optimization. So for example, if the instance is consistently running at low utilization, so can be resized or maybe terminated to reclaim our resources. So for any specific loads that don't require any dedicated instances at all the time, then we should utilize some like serverless computing like AWS Lambda. So this not only optimizes the resources uses, but also like streamlines the management and reduces the cost overall. So like these strategies like cost effectiveness and will improve the performance of the application by using this serverless computing.
When you measure the costing for AWS resources, what is the tool you use?
AWS Cost Explorer we can use.
And in Azure?
Azure, I didn't remember exactly.
Okay. So 10th question, last question. This is, explain the concept of cloud elasticity and its significance in infrastructure setting up. Are you aware of the elasticity?
Yes.
Yeah, what is it actually?
Okay, suppose if I take any e-commerce application, like so like that maybe like any Black Friday on that day, maybe that the website maybe experiences like dramatic spikes, maybe traffic in the traffic. So this cloud elasticity is like an auto scaling capability. So detect this the spikes and automatically deploy the additional servers to manage the increased load. So which will give the optimal performance and the very good experience. So this dynamic scaling will prevent this need of over provisioning. So which will involve the purchasing these excessive resources or leading to service disruptions. So even at the event the traffic subsides, then the auto scaling rules to recognize this reduced demand and will efficiently scale down these resources. So which will eliminate the unnecessary expenses.
Okay.
So as the company
Here only I have a
only
question. When you implement the cloud elasticity, what are the services mandated to use?
this auto scaling and load
Okay.
balance.
Auto scaling and load balancing. Is it in both cloud services, both are mandated?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all today's mock interview. Thanks for attending this, and I'll come back to you. We'll see further set of mocks, how it is going to happen. Schedule. Thanks.
Okay.